How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Robert. How about you?
Good.
Nice. Nice. You have a cool background. Like you've been all over.
Yeah, I've done a few things.
Nice. I would love to be a sponge and just absorb everything you have learned throughout life and
Sure.
anything you can teach me on getting in front of the microphone or camera. Like I will absorb it and apply it in real time.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
be glad to.
Cool. Well, do you want to give me like a little snapshot about like your whole biography? I'm looking at it. I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of shit, and I don't know how to convey the essence of how much you've accomplished.
Uh, do you have the short one or the long version? I'm not sure which one I sent.
Is best known as the dad on
Yeah, yeah,
2012.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I think that's the short one actually.
Holy cow.
So yeah, but I that's my claim to fame from acting is I was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm an attorney and I'm an actor and a voiceover artist. And then I produce films. So I've done I've done like 35 films to
No
date.
shit. Wow.
Um, and I'm an author, voiceover legal. That's one of the things that launched me, got me known. And it became a number one bestseller on Amazon. Working on the second edition right now as we speak. I'm about a third of the way through it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I just kind of everything kind of complements the other, and I combine everything. I try to combine everything. A lot of it centers off legal issues.
Hmm.
Like the production is very much legal business issues. I try to approach acting and voiceover artists with business in mind
Okay.
because you can be the greatest actor in the world or the greatest voiceover artist in the world, but if you don't understand the business and don't understand where to go, you're not going anywhere.
Oh,
So
okay. So when I was going for my bachelor's degree, I wanted to have a focus in mind, and the focus was incorporating my podcast. So with each course that I've taken, they would always ask us to analyze a business or a made up business, and I would always would put my LLC and just trying to understand every aspect of it,
mhm.
as well as that's how I got my degree, is focusing on how I can improve your transformation station. And I don't know, like that is what helped me progress and accomplish the degree, was something that I was most passionate about, and incorporating what I'm learning new and applying that in real time to the current show and episodes.
Right. Yeah, it's everything's about transformation. So it's about, if you're an attorney or like me, you're an attorney, how do you transform those skills into other areas? How do you
Mhm.
use them and transfer them in other areas? So and that's it's what I've done my entire life, my entire career. I've taken what I already know and incorporated it into other areas. And I also was a DJ in college. So I was like, it was funny because when I was in college, I was unsure if I wanted to be a DJ on the radio or if I wanted to go into law. And
Mhm.
I remember I had an internship at the local radio station in Stamford, Connecticut. And I was talking to the DJs, and they're like, "Are you crazy? Go in law. There's no money in radio." So that's kind of how I made my decision on where I wanted to go. Even though I really liked radio and I really liked DJing, but I was able to incorporate that. Even those skills, I was able to incorporate, and that kind of what led me into voice acting. Because the boards
So you
control
need
the big board.
like a certain set of charisma when you do radio, and I feel like that would transfer over into law when you're, I mean, communicating with clients, but
Yes,
also in the courtroom.
absolutely. And then the technical side too. So voiceover, you're recording yourself all the time,
Yeah.
and I learned how to use the big boards at the college radio stations, and set up the queue up the records, and so that translates too, that transforms. So all of those skills, and everyone has those skills. And when I'm talking to people that want to become actors or want to become voice talent, I tell them that's what I stress to them. Like use what you already know and lean on that.
Yes. Yes. See,
So,
first I have ADHD, so I saw a little floater go across the screen on your
oh,
side.
did you? I wonder what it
Yeah,
was.
I don't know what it was, but I tend to do that. I tend to. I guess that's what the audience like is my ADHD.
I, wa- I wonder what I wondered. I didn't see anything flying, so maybe it
Yeah.
was the light or something weird.
I don't know. I don't, but that's really cool. Like with your background and just going into radio voiceover, but then also kind of twisting towards law. Was there something more towards that? Like you deciding, like, was that like a reality moment? Like, I need to make fucking money, or was there something else?
Not really. I mean, it was just I was really just trying to decide. I really liked radio. I really liked law,
Mm,
and I was just trying to decide what was my best career path at that point in time. And
mm,
it just seemed like, I mean, I had a couple of people that were in the business telling me like your best career path is to go to become a lawyer, and
mm,
actually they were right because then I circled back later in life. I became a voiceover artist later on, 10 years later, 15
mm.
years later. That's when I broke into voiceover and acting. And I really think that that's the best way to do it because I was more stable. I had income. I wasn't waiting, having to wait tables. I didn't have to live in my car. So I was more financially stable. So I was able to take time and devote it toward learning the craft of voiceover, learning the craft of acting. And I had like I said, I already had the business knowledge about it because I was already representing musicians and filmmakers and voiceover artists. So
Mhm.
I already knew the business. So it was just a matter of getting out of that side of my brain and going into the other side of my brain and becoming creative. And that was tough. It's still tough.
Is it like a whisper that's telling you that you're not enough?
Well, I mean, beside all the normal self doubts that anyone has, I'm just talking
Yeah.
about learning, trying to turn off that side of the brain from thinking and just learning to do what's in the moment and what you're feeling. Like that's a
Mm,
hard thing for many people to do, especially attorneys, because
mhm.
we're always thinking, always in control, but you have to kind of let go of that to be a good actor. And I
Yes.
think it took me a long time to do it. I'm still, I mean, in a way, I still, that's what I'm still learning. If I
Yeah.
have new characters, I need to learn it all over again,
So,
and to get into that character's head. So,
which is interesting because I would like to go deeper into that. We are recording, and before we go any further, Robert, can you just share your last name for our audience?
sure. It's a Sciglimpaglia. Sciglimpaglia. You didn't want to give
That-
that a shot, did you?
no, not at all.
It's all right.
Is
No worries.
yeah. What is what's behind that? Your last name?
It's Italian. So Sciglimpaglia, like if you go to Italy, Sciglimpaglia, that's how they say
Okay.
it. Because
Yes.
the SC is a she sound, and you don't say G's
Yes.
in Italy. Sciglimpaglia.
Yes. Well, I'm
But
Italian as well. My last name's Favazza, so I feel like
yep,
we kind of connected there just
absolutely.
automatically. Yes. But with understanding like how actors become actors, it's essentially you have to understand the role, but also understand the person that you're trying to be based off the script that's been handed to you. Like, could you go a little bit into that?
Sure, sure. So that's where I'm talking about the thinking part,
Mhm.
right? So you analyze the character, and you what you're trying to when you're doing your analyzing, you're trying to figure out the story that the author or the writer is trying to tell, right? And you
Mhm.
do all that analysis before you start doing anything, because if you're doing that analysis as you're trying to perform, it's gonna look fake. It's not gonna look real. So what I tell people ask me this question, when you're acting, what you're doing is you're learning how to be yourself. You're learning about yourself. That's what you're
Okay.
learning. So you're not necessarily transforming yourself into another character. You're drawing on things you already know and you already have experience with, and then you're applying that to the character because it's coming from within you. It's not coming from somewhere out there. If it's not coming from within you, it's not going to be real. It's not going to be authentic. So you have to figure out a way with each character to get what they're all about from come from within your gut with your heart. That's the best way I can explain it. And then turn off your brain. Because you can't be thinking, oh, the character would cough at this point in time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like people do that when they act, and you can't do that. It just does not look. It's not going to be authentic. It's not going to be real. It's going to look fake. It's going to look like, oh, you just told yourself to cough. Cough. So
Mhm.
if the character is going to cough, it's got to come. It's got to come naturally. It's got to come from inside. So
Okay. So let me follow up with that. Like I'm listening to this audiobook. It's called Green Lights with Matthew McConaughey, and he goes into his first like movie that or production or film that kind of set him off, and that was Dazed and Confused.
mhm.
And he didn't have any lines except just I think there's maybe like a couple lines that he was talking about, and he had to fill the role of what he imagined the role would be, and he used his older brother for an example. Like he was a popular guy, he would go after girls and talked about drugs and having a nice car. So he's like he's got all three, but he doesn't have the girl. So then I'm just gonna go for it, and that mentality kind of set him up for success.
Right.
So
So what
that's
he
kind of
did, I mean, what any actor does, what he did there is he internalized what his brother does,
mm,
made it become part of him. Because if you're trying to imitate somebody, that's where you have a huge risk that you're not going to look real. You're going to look fake. So you have to take those characteristics and you have to make them part of you, right? So what
yes.
the characteristics that they have, you're making them part of your personality for the character. So you're making them part of it's the character's personality, but they're really your person. It's your personality at that point in time. Everything
Okay.
has to come from you. It has to be grounded in you. It can't be grounded in outside stuff, or it's not gonna work.
So then would you suggest that people have a good understanding of themselves prior to going down that kind of line of work?
That's what you're learning when you're learning acting.
Okay.
That's what I said. That's how I started it all. You learn about yourself. You're learning about yourself.
Wouldn't you get
So
stuck in the role? Like, do actors get stuck in that role?
sometimes, and that's why it's important to keep studying, keep practicing, because you need to expand. And so the thing that actors say all the time, that I hear actors say all the time, is that they can do any part, but you can't do every part. So you need to, part of learning yourself is learning what your capabilities are as an actor.
Mm,
And if you want to do a part that's you're going to be stretching, it's better to do that in class, in a class situation, because it's a safe space. You can get feedback and you can work on it. And I'm not saying that an actor who can't ever do any part, but you need to. It's not something that just comes like that. It's something you need to work. You need to work on if you're doing parts that are outside your normal self. So, that's what actors do. They try to expand the roles they can play by doing that. By internalizing them, their own personality, and internalizing what they know about themselves, and that's how they expand the roles that they can play. So, and that's really what it is. It's really learning about what you can and can't do, what your capabilities are. What about what if you're what kind of person you are. Like
mhm,
act is it's really therapeutic. Acting is really therapeutic because you learn a lot about yourself, and there's things about yourself that you might not like,
mhm.
right? And that's a sometimes actors are also, they have things that happen in their past, and that comes up, and
Yes.
and that's why they'll take drugs or alcohol, and they if you get down that rabbit hole, sometimes you can't get out.
Mhm,
So that's also learning. I learned that with my acting teacher. That's what we work on all the time. She can get me down there, but she wants me to get out of there. Like, she doesn't want me to stay. If it's deep, 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 sad part, like, I can get down, but can you go down there and out? Like, that's the professional part of
mm,
acting, but it's still coming from in you. So, like, if you're going down deep and you're playing a sad character, and it's got to be, you got to draw an experience to be sad. You can stay down there. You can stay down there and just get depressed and start drinking. But you can't
okay.
do that. Like, actors need to know how to get in and get out, and that's also part of being a professional trained actor.
Is usually you have a support system that will kind of help pull you out, essentially, when you're in
Well,
that.
yeah, you have a coach, but what the coach does is, you're teaching your people. They're not really like, you have to do that for yourself.
Okay.
Like your coach, if there's something that I'm using that's getting me into a part where I'm playing somebody that's depressed and sad,
Hmm.
right? To me, that's real at the time. So I need also something to get that I can associate with to get myself out of that space too,
Gotcha.
because there's a danger that when you get yourself down there, you can stay there.
Okay.
So, and that's what I'm telling you. A lot of times when I hear people that they take they'll take drugs, their performance they'll go to the bottle. It's
Hmm.
because they got themselves down and they couldn't get out. And maybe it was because of acting, or maybe it was because of something outside of acting. But you know,
Gotcha.
that
Okay.
deep space, they could be dangerous. So that's another part of learning, and that's another part of being in a safe space where you can do it in class. And the other thing that I find when I act, I get what they call the post production blues. So, like, I'm so much into my character, and the character's so me, that when production's over and I'm done, I'm like a good week, and I'm like down in the blues. I'm down in the dumps. I'm sad
Is it
about it,
the
depressed.
dopamine like that you were getting from being on stage doing the acting and all of a sudden you're not doing it anymore?
That's part of it. It's part of just the exercise of going, getting into character.
Mhm.
And then when you're coming out, you're like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. This character is gone forever, and that's part
Mhm.
of the sadness. You're never going to be with that group of people again. So sometimes
Oh,
you really like other actors, and you like your crew, and you're never gonna. That's not gonna happen anymore. That's done. The plug gets pulled fast. So
wow. Okay.
all that stuff contributes to me. I get the post production blues.
But
You
it
know,
does
it,
sound cool that you surround yourself with unique types of individuals with the same passion that have learned the tricks of the trades and they
Absolutely.
kind of pass that along. Now, when you're doing acting and you come across people that are trying to be a certain way, but it's coming off as inauthentic, I can see that it could be an indirect um, observation of learning more about yourself on knowing what not to do based on their own actions.
Yeah, I mean, people that when most of the time when people are coming off as inauthentic, they're thinking too much. They're in
Mm.
their head. And you hear that all the time. Get out of your head. And
All
that's
the
what it
time.
means.
I get that all the time.
That's what it means. Like, just stop thinking, and let whatever's going to happen come and feel it. You gotta open yourself so the feelings can come in, because your head blocks it. Your head blocks those feelings from happening. So get out of your head just basically means, hey, you already did all that thinking before. Like, if you prepared properly and you did your thinking about what what the character's about, if you have the viewpoint of the artist, I mean the author, writer
Mhm.
in mind, and that's how
Yes.
you're speaking from that viewpoint. You can get out. You don't need to think anymore. You don't need to think. And if you have your lines down, you have to obviously memorize, because if you're thinking about lines, that's also in your head, and the
Yeah.
character's not gonna come out. So
Yeah.
you have all that stuff you do before. That's your prep, so that when you actually perform, you're not thinking about any of that stuff. Like, that's all rehearsal. So that's all behind you. Now you're performing. So now you're opening yourself up. I'm not thinking, I'm just feeling. Whatever comes up, comes up.
Okay.
So
Can I do like a real live, like little scenario? Like
sure.
if I were to put you on the spotlight and say, like, Robert, can you just act out how a serial killer would approach a approach his victim that he's been stalking for weeks, and now finally he's about to make his attempt to get him or her? What would that look like?
So for me to do that, it would be me. So I'd be like, let's just say you're my victim,
Sure.
and I'm coming for you. So it would be something like, "Hey, how you? How's it going today? How are you? It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name's Greg. It's nice to meet you too.
Hey, where do you work?
Oh, I work in St. Louis, Missouri. I work at home, so you can find me if you look up my address.
Oh, okay. What do you do?
I'm a podcast host.
Nice. We're we're in St. Louis.
I would say it's towards uh, Big Ben and 141. Yeah,
So tell me, do you have time to hang out with me for a little while?
I do. Yeah,
All right, let's go to the bar. Yep, I'll buy you a drink.
yeah, yeah. I don't have any friends, so I feel like that would be great.
All right, come on, let's go. Then when I get you to the bar, I'll drop a roofie in your drink. Then I got you. But it's just it's more. So there's many ways to approach the character. That's the point. So when
Mhm.
you think serial killer, I mean, what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Dissociated individual who has experienced trauma and thinking about uh, altering that history with a new version of history in the current present.
Right. I agree. And then how? But how do you show it? That's the thing. Like if you start you act deranged, if I go, oh come on, let's go to the bar, like you're not gonna come with me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's not how serial killers act. And that's the other thing that you learn about acting is you learn a lot about human nature. You learn a lot about human nature. So everyone has there's no a serial killer is not one dimensional. They're just not demented, right? A serial
Hmm.
killer has all feelings:
Yes.
joy, sadness, madness. They get upset, right? So you're still playing a full character, a full person when you're playing a serial killer.
Hmm.
But there's just certain traits you're going to give that killer that he's going to do so that the audience knows. It's really up to the writer too, what they want to give the traits to the character. Like maybe, like I said, the roofie, maybe that's what I do
Hmm.
to my victims. And then when I go in my pocket, I start to pull out the roofie, then that okay, serial killer's coming out. You know what I mean? So, and if you study serial killers,
Hmm.
it's what they do. They don't they lure their victims. They're nice. Most of them are very charming,
Yeah.
right?
So
They
you
don't
can't really
just
distinguish it.
they're
What
not
I would try to look at
slashers.
is like understanding learned behaviors later on in life versus behaviors that were naturally given to us as a child, and being able to recognize and distinguish between the two regardless of the individual. I mean, from my understanding, I would say there's a slight delay, that it's a conscious effort to make those natural reactions look natural.
So I talk about this all the time too. Like this is a debate that I have. Whether people are born inherently good or inherently evil.
Hmm.
And if there's any control over that, like when you're born, are you good or you're evil? And I use the example of my twins. When my twins were little babies, a few months old, one of them would just sit there and be fine. The other one would go up to her and push her over or throw a bottle or something, knock it down. So I always called one of the twins good, one of them evil. Right. So, and how much of that, if you let go, if you don't correct it as they're growing, how much of that just continues on and makes the evil person inherently stay evil versus learning about, no, this is what society wants you to do, right?
Hmm.
So that you correct them versus staying good. I don't know the answers to these questions, but it's just something that I think about. Like if you leave an evil person, someone that's going to punch you and throw bottles at you, and you don't
Yeah.
correct that behavior, are they going to stay that way for the rest of their life?
The nature versus nurture aspect.
Exactly, nature
Yeah.
versus nurture. So I mean, I'm fascinated with that. So but that's what I'm saying. Everybody has that in them. Everybody has good and evil in them. What shows, what comes out, that's the fascinating part, and that's the part that you can study and you can
Yeah.
emulate when you're acting and use that. for your repertoire of characters. So you got someone who's evil, someone who's good. What do they do? How do they act in certain circumstances? Are they inherently good? Are they inherently evil? And serial killers are inherently they're evil, obviously, right? They kill
Yeah.
people, they go around killing people, but they don't act like that all the time, right? They're like Ted
Well,
Bundy, for example.
well,
Perfect
some of them
example.
would look at it, they're doing justice. Like they could be thinking this is normal when it's definitely not allowed or
That's my
even,
point.
yes.
That's my point. They think it's normal because they were not corrected, possibly, right? They
Yeah.
were not
Yeah.
corrected during when they were kids. They thought that's killing squirrels is normal because no one corrected them. They didn't have the guidance.
Mm.
That's one theory. Like I'm not obviously I don't have, like I said, I don't have the answer to this, but I don't need the answer to this.
Yeah,
I
this is all
this is
theoretical.
this is observations that I can use for my acting. I don't need to have the answers to these questions to put them into a character. So, and in fact, that it's better that I don't have the answer because then that's the kind of stuff that you can use organically, stuff that comes up without having to have a solution to it. And that's where your brain comes in. It doesn't, it's messy. It should be messy. So,
Because the messiness illustrates authenticity.
exactly. Art is messy. The more you mess it up, the more authentic, the more real, the more complex that it is. The more that you try to make it neat, nice and neat, and put it into categories, that's boring. It's not act. That's not art. That's
No,
science. Putting it into little neat packages.
or
That's science.
OCD.
Well, it could be behavioral traits, I guess. But if you have if you're acting with OCD, it's not gonna be interesting. Put it that way.
So
Right?
you must watch like a lot of movies and kind of can just pick up different like aspects of things and kind of put in your toolbox.
I do. It's so that's another thing. Like when I watch TV or when I watch film, I try to stay into the story without trying to analyze it, and pull it apart so much. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I know what went into filming a scene. I know what they did. Sometimes I get caught up into that. It's like, wow, look at that. That was a great shot. And,
Yeah.
look at the lighting on that. Like I get caught up in the technical side, but I try to not to. I try just to concentrate on the performances and the story when I'm watching a film or a TV show. But in a way, being a producer and an actor kind of it ruins movies for you. So and you can recognize as a pro, what's done well. So, but yeah, really have to again, you have to get rid of the thinking when you're watching a film or a TV show to so you get into the story and you're not thinking about all the technical aspects of it.
When you say that like being a producer ruins a lot of movies, are you kind of referring to like this thought that I have, like the more you know, the more you hate life, essentially?
No, what I'm saying is I look at it from a different viewpoint. I'm not necessarily watching the story, listening to the story. I'm sitting there saying, "Oh man, that angle was terrible. Why did they use it? Oh, why didn't they put the light? Why did they put the lights here? Like second guessing how they're the filming of it, or because I know how
Okay.
what they did to get the shot. Or oh man, that was a cool drone shot. Like when they show the shot overhead, instead of like, oh wow, they're instead of the picture that they're trying to show you, I'm looking at it like how they shot it. So
Okay. I'm
like
the
I have
same way when it comes to people acting in military uniforms and then the ranking is upside down. I'm like, that's not authorized. That's not
exactly.
authorized. That's not real. This is now I can't watch the movie.
Yep, exactly. And the same thing when it's illegal. When it's a legal movie, I right away. Oh, that's not right. That's BS. But that's what I'm talking about. Like as a producer, you same thing. Like you could get caught up in all the technical side of it and forget about. Wait a minute, this is a good story and there's good acting here. So,
Mhm.
and then when I watch actors, I I see how they. I'm not necessarily looking at their thought process on how they got to the character. I'm looking more technical when I'm watching an actor. So like I'm looking at their movements, looking at their facial expressions, looking in their eyes. Those are all things that those are all the nuance that make a really, 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 really great actor.
Mhm.
And they say that the greatest actors are the ones that do the best acting when they're not speaking. So like when they're reacting to other characters, like that's how you can tell a great actor from a good or very good actor. When they're not speaking, what are they doing
Wow.
in between the lines, in between their lines?
I
So
like that.
I'm looking at that too. But sometimes you can't. Like it's better for theater to be able to do that because you can't. Sometimes like on film they'll cut away and then do another close up on another actor, so you can't really see what they're doing in between their lines.
That's interesting. I really like that. I want to just transition a little bit to looking at like digital marketing and just marketing in general.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like, is there a similarity between marketing and acting?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what you're there's a similarity with everything in life.
Yes.
What you're trying to do, what a person is trying to do, at least in my opinion, is they're trying to connect with other people,
Yes.
trying to make a connection with other people. So when I'm arguing a case, I'm trying to make a connection with a jury or judge. When I'm acting, I'm trying to make a connection with the audience. When I'm digital marketing, I'm trying to make a connection with the person that can use those services.
Mhm.
Right. So if there's somebody that you're marketing to and they can't use the services, there's no point in marketing to them because you're never going to make a connection.
Yes.
So like that's part of marketing is turning over rocks and figuring out which people are right for the services or for the goods that you're selling, that you're marketing. So yes, there's a connection and all those things. And all those, that's what I was trying to say earlier too. Like all the common thread is law for me because that's how I learned how to connect originally. So then I use that for acting. Now I use it for marketing. I use it for whatever I'm doing. I'm trying to make a genuine connection with the person that I'm speaking with or communicating to.
No, I like that because that's what I'm using is organizational leadership with the podcast and then vice versa with getting that degree. And now I want to take it further, but I'm still trying to decide how I want to go about doing that. And I don't know, what would you suggest for somebody like myself that wants to take it to the next level for like towards the audience to expand out further?
So that's a tough question to answer because what you need to figure out is what is going to get you the maximum amount of connection with your audience. What avenue is it going to be? Social media? Is it influencer road? Is it YouTube videos? Um, is it all the above?
Hmm.
So it's just a matter of how. Well, first of all, figuring out who you connect with. That's the first thing because you
Yes.
can't if you just throw stuff up on the wall and hope it sticks. It never works. You just waste money and you waste time. So you need to figure out who watches you on a consistent basis, and then target them, talk to them. Those are the people that you want to talk to. So if let's just say it's lawyers that watch you, just for an example,
Hmm.
right? I would be targeting every single law group, every bar association, every Facebook page that has lawyers. That's where I'd go to get more eyeballs on me,
Hmm.
right? And it's just an example. So I don't know the core who watches your podcast, so I wouldn't be able to answer it specifically. But that's the first step: finding out who watches your podcast, and then go out to them. That's where
Hmm.
you start, and then you can always expand from there. Then figure out, okay, who are people similar to lawyers that I can market to? Police. All right, let's go into police groups and see if they respond. Right. So you can start expanding your audience based on who have similar characteristics to your main group. So who what do you have stats on
So
demographics on who watch you?
I do. I've had a lot of stats, and my issue was I've moved around from hosting to hosting, so I lost a lot of consistent research. But I have all the research, and then I had my account getting hacked from uh, an ex that took over my iCloud, and stole my identity and all that stuff. So that was a huge roller coaster. And I feel like that is what I'm focusing on with this next 30-day challenge I'm calling the 24/30, where it's to help individuals who are dealing with recovery, addiction, um, narcissistic abuse, abusive relationships, and just rediscovering things that I used to enjoy. And for the next 30 days, I will be putting that out there on every channel, and each channel will have a specific nuance that I highlight. And I feel like that's going to be a beneficial thing for everybody, but also for myself, because I want to illustrate as much raw, vulnerable, like moments of myself, because I feel like it's therapy, like you said with acting.
Mhm.
This is same with me with recording. I don't know how or why. I feel like it's stressful as fuck, and I hate doing it, but I love doing it at the same time.
So that's you just described every artist on the face of the planet. Every artist is stressed and anxious that no one's gonna like their work, and that's the stuff that I'm talking about. You gotta distance yourself from that and be vulnerable, like you just said. Open yourself up, be vulnerable, and not worry that people are not gonna like what you're doing. Just do what you enjoy. Do it because you enjoy it. And if you're enjoying it, great. If you're, if your audience doesn't enjoy it, there's nothing you can do about that. You have zero control over that. So, but if you're marketing to people, you can modify your message to
Mhm.
a little bit. You can tweak your message a little bit so that you can make a better connection with them.
Yes, because
So,
that's a book that I'm reading. It's called Hook Points, and it's
right,
able to help people stand out in a 3 second kind of crowd when we're constantly getting shuffled around with all digital marketing.
exactly. I mean, you can really make a connection with everybody on a certain level. So, I mean, that's one thing that I try to do when I meet new people or talk to people. I try to connect with them in some way. And I've done many, many things, and I play golf, and I've played sports, and I watch football, and so I can connect with different things with different people. So I
Mm.
try to find that common ground when I'm meeting new people, because then it just makes your conversation a lot more interesting than just, hey, how you doing? How's the weather today? You
I
know,
can't stand conversations like that. I walk away.
it's superficial. So, you know, but it's the same thing with marketing. Like, so if you can find that common ground with who needs your services or products, then it's much easier for them to decide that they want to buy your products or your services. So, or watch your
Interesting.
podcast.
So let's transition a little bit to looking at law a little bit, because now we're in the digital age where everybody's curating content, and
Yep.
I feel like eventually somebody's gonna cross paths with somebody else that has similar ideas,
Yep.
or it becomes now a possible copyright infringement. How do you look at that, and what could you teach our audience about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it happens all the time. So copyright and trademark. I see those infringements a lot. Well, first of all, I'm going to approach it not talking about artificial intelligence, AI, because that creates a whole other issue,
Yeah.
which is much more complicated. But artists sometimes do copy from other artists, and not necessarily um, on purpose. They get the same ideas. So copyright will protect your idea so that if someone does copy it too closely, then you can prevent them from making money off your idea or without at least sharing with
Mm.
you. So that's what copyright does. So if you write the next great American novel, you copyright it, then someone else, if they intentionally steal your characters or your story, then yes, that's an easy infringement case. But if it's very similar and it was unintentional, you still have a copyright infringement case. So that's the importance of registering your works so that you can
Mm.
pursue it. Trademark, I see it all the time. So I'll see bands that use the same name. I'll see voiceover artists that use the same tags, logos. So it's important to trademark all of those specific brands, so that you can stop that too. So the voiceover artist uses the same tag that you've been using for years, you can go after them if you trademarked it and, say cease and desist, stop using it.
Hmm.
So that's how you protect yourself as an artist. And then you should. All artists should be doing that. If unless this is what I tell artists, if you don't care about rebranding, then don't worry about trademarking. But if you're working on branding something and you want that to stick, you need to trademark it. You need to protect it so that you can have other people stop using your brand, your unique brand name. So
So that's interesting. Like with not caring about rebranding, like if we were to look at entities, legal entities being forced to rebrand for some reason, like what should be taken into consideration prior to getting to that point of having to rebrand? Like what's like the mentality of not caring to rebrand? Like I don't understand that.
so some companies rebrand voluntarily. They just rebrand, like
Mhm.
X,
Yes.
Twitter to X, right? They
Yeah.
just decided to do that. They didn't get sued. WWF, which is now WWE, got sued by the World Wildlife Fund, who owned the trademark to that.
Hmm.
That's why they're WWE now, right? So that's the
Interesting.
difference. That's what I'm talking about. WWF, World Wrestling Federation, didn't want to change their name. They had to, right? Because they were infringing on World Wildlife Fund's trademark.
Mm.
X was not infringing on Twitter was not infringing on anything or weren't being infringed on, so that they just decided to rebrand to X. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
If you're a company and you're thinking about, oh, I don't really care about this brand, I'll rebrand it and I'll relaunch, I don't really care, then you don't necessarily need to trademark. But if you really are building a brand that you want to stick forever, like WWF, you need to trademark. You need to trademark it. And now WWF, of course they're 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 strict about going after people that they think are gonna infringe on their trademarks. Because I had one. There was a show called Raw, the Raw Word, and
Okay.
I had WWE write me and say they wrote to the trademark office and objected, and said we couldn't use it because it was too close to Raw,
Oh
the
wow.
wrestling Raw. So we,
Yeah.
so they're strict about their brand because of that, because of what happened with WWE, WWF. So that's an example. That's what I'm talking about. If you want to keep your brand forever, and you would be a big hassle and detrimental to your business to rebrand it, then you better trademark it. If you're okay with, I'm just using this brand to see how it works, and if someone steals it, I'll just rebrand, then you don't have to worry as much about
Okay.
trademarking it.
Well,
So
let's go deeper with this. When we're creating a brand and trying to protect ourselves, like what are some things that we can protect? I mean, of course, we can protect our logo, we can protect the name. What about
yep,
our color scheme? Like, what if we had this unique color scheme that's badass, and then somebody takes it?
yep. If you so the color scheme is going to be part of one of the other things. It's either going to be part of the name, it's going to be part of the logo, or it's going to be part of the slogan. So you can make that color specific if you want to, or just do plain black and white. That's up to you. When you do the trademark, file the trademark, it asks, is color an integral part of the trademark? Yes
Okay.
or no? So you can that's fine. Yeah, the color scheme can also be protected. So, but it's not going to be on its own. Like if you use purple as your color, you're not going to be able to go after everybody that uses purple. You know what I mean? It has
Yeah.
to be part of the logo or something, so that it looks similar to what you're doing. So you have to maybe be able to make a connection.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm gonna leave you with the floor and kind of let you share what you would like to share, that things I haven't gotten to address.
Sure. I mean, the one thing that I want to share is that, and the one thing that I learned is always teach yourself, always learn, keep going, learn new things. Don't be afraid to learn new things. And don't be afraid to, if you want to try something, do it. And don't let time and money be an excuse as to why you don't want to do it. Right. Because when I started, I was an attorney for 10 or 15 years. And I decided to become a voiceover artist just because I took a class. I took an adult ed class and I liked it. And so I started taking more voice classes. cut my demo, um, started doing acting.
I do apologize for the sirens in the
Oh, is that
background.
yours? Is that yours? I thought thought they were
I
coming
don't know. Like
to get
if
me.
I don't know if it's you or me. It just
uh,
I'm just gonna say
yeah,
something.
I don't think it's me. So I was looking around. Um, yeah. So when I transitioned, one of the things I said to myself was, I don't have time for this. I don't have time. So what I told myself when I really decided I want to do voiceovers is I'm going to make the time and I'm going to find the funds. And what I did was I gave up my golf. Golf was my hobby. So I played a couple times a week. So I figured 10 hours was about 10 hours a week. So I gave up that time to pursue voiceovers. And it was also, a couple $100 around. So, for
Ladies and gentlemen,
$100 around.
he has a golf shirt on right now, just
I
so
do.
y'all know.
Well, this is Ocean City, New Jersey. It's kind of a golf shirt, but so that's how I started. I took that time and I put it toward voiceover. Right. And then I started doing acting. And I remember that it was like March of 2006. And I had already used up all my vacation time with my job that I was working like 60 hours a week at, because I would go in and go to the city, New York City, to do voice acting gigs and acting gigs. Right.
Mhm.
So I got an offer from Disney to do a 13-day background acting job. Um, so I showed my wife and I was like, look, I got this offer for 13 days, but I can't do that. I don't have 13 days of vacation left. So what she told me was, she said, quit your job. She's like, she knew how much I hated that job. She said, quit it. Just do this. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. If you get into this, if you're in the final cut, we can show our grandkids this. And then she just said, just make sure you pay the mortgage. So like that was a
Nice.
caveat. And so what I did was I went back out on my own as an attorney. I rented an office in a friend's space that was in town here,
Mhm.
started working on my own. And then I was doing the acting at the same time. So if I had let fear hold me back at that point, and I've not looked back, that was 2006. I'm still on my own as an attorney. I'm still, self-employed as an actor, as a producer. All that stuff happened because of that move. And if I had not done that, if I had let fear take me take it over on me, and if I didn't listen to my wife, I would probably still be an employee, and I never would be doing what I wanted to do. So, find a way. Don't be afraid. Jump, take the leap, and just don't take a full leap. Make sure you're doing it in a way where you're still, you're not gonna bankrupt yourself. So
Mm.
there are definitely ways to do it so that you're not gonna be in the poorhouse, and you're gonna still be able to pay your bills. So
Interesting. Yes. No. I wanted you to just highlight your book a little bit on what
sure,
you've already written and published. If you can share that with our audience.
absolutely. I wrote a book called Voiceover Legal, and it's funny because when I started doing voiceovers, a lot of the voiceover actors knew I was a lawyer, so they started asking me questions. Oh, should I start up an LLC? Should I trademark my logo? Right. So I
Mhm.
started writing all these questions down, and that's how the book was born. So I did a
Wow.
chapter for all the questions, and I gave real life examples, um, and it became a bestseller. It's the book that voiceover artists buy when they have legal issues or they want to learn about the legal issues of not only voiceover, it applies to acting as well because they're very similar. Um,
I'll
so
link that in the show notes.
great. Yeah, so I'm working on the second edition now. That'll be done pretty soon. I'm going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. I need to upgrade it for that because that's a big issue now.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the book. So it's funny because voiceover artists and actors know me as the attorney, and my attorney colleagues know me as the actor. So that's how much it complements each other. Like they know me as the opposite thing. So it's amusing to me.
That'd be a cool name for you. Like they call me the attorney.
Nice. You? They call you
No,
the
no, no,
me?
no. I'm imagining I'm you for a second,
Gotcha.
and Yeah, because then that would make you unique. Be like, I don't know, like a superhero name, kind of something. I don't know.
I've got
Yeah.
to come up with a better superhero name than attorney. That's
Or if we look at it as a contract killer, who are we going to hire? Oh, the attorney.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, he's good.
I
He's
like
really
that.
good.
I like that. I'm gonna write a screenplay on that now.
Definitely. As long as you can,
Attorney serial killer.
yeah, as long as you can incorporate me into it, I would love to participate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, who would think that an attorney would be a serial killer? That was the point I was making earlier. Like Ted Bundy. Like Ted Bundy was very charming, and he charmed a lot of women, and he ended up being a damn serial killer. Like so, same thing
Yeah.
with it. Don't know many. I've never heard of many attorneys that are serial killers. I've heard of attorneys that killed people, but I've never heard of them being serial killers. I think that would be a good story.
Yeah. Because it's, what is it like? If you're getting like investigated, it's like attorney client privilege. So
Right.
they can't ask you shit.
Well, and it also is just attorneys are fiduciaries. They're trusted with money and stuff. So
Yeah.
like you have to trust your attorney really. So if you're giving all that kind of trust to an attorney, then an attorney is like in a perfect position to be a serial killer.
Hmm. And I'll say
So
he has like a code and he doesn't hire or he doesn't take, he won't be hired by the bad people that he would consider because he would just end up killing them.
that's a good twist on the plot right there.
Yeah.
So he only takes clients that are bad and he kills them. Well,
Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
that's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So
Yes.
he takes evil clients and kills them,
Yeah. So then they never make it to court. I don't know.
or never make it to their next victim. I love that.
Yes. Yeah, this is going good. I like this.
All right, we
Does
got a
that mean
script. You and I are co-writers.
beautiful? Do I have to copyright that?
After we write it, yeah, you have to copyright it.
Hell yeah. This is perfect. I will I will link this. I'll link everything we talked about into the show notes, but was I able to ask you everything you wanted to address?
Yes. Oh, actually, I want to talk a little bit about. I also have a new membership program that I started called Attorney on Demand.
Ooh.
ATTY on demand.com, and it's for businesses and artists. So if you want an attorney, you want them on retainer and not pay a lot of money, you can join our Attorney on Demand and ask me as many questions as you want, get free contracts, get reduced trademarks, reduced LLCs, reduced fees. So that's a new, it seems to be resonating very well with the artistic community. So I thought I'd mention it.
Beautiful. No, I'll definitely link that into the show notes as well as long as you provide me a destination link where they can
Yep,
go. Beautiful.
absolutely. Yep.
Excellent.
Great.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
And that is that. I'm serious. I would love to learn everything that you know about acting and getting further out. This is my passion. And when it comes to finances, I mean, I was a veteran. Well, I am a veteran. Served the military for 5.5 years, so I have a pension that allows me to do what I've always wanted to do.
Nice.
And I built my entire like room into a studio. I've made multiple studios, so I'm serious as cancer to going after this creative endeavor.
Great.
So any information or guidance or like a resource that you could send my way, I would
Sure.
be greatly appreciated.
I mean, I can give you many resources. So if you want to coach for voice, I can give you a bunch of names of top coaches. If you want to do acting, I can give you names of top acting teachers. I mean, I can give you lots of resources. So
I would take it all. I want it all.
great.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, you'll be. Yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy it too.
Yes.
Because I did. That's one thing is I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. So it's almost like stealing money.
Yes. Oh, and one last thing. How can our audience get in touch with you?
Uh, they can go to my law website, which is robscigesq.com. robsig.com. That's the easiest way. I mean, you can Google me and find me. I'm all over the internet too. So
Beautiful. All right. I will let you know when this is all cut up and sent out, and I will send you a whole bunch of links as well to each of the social media